Please help me, I need only 50 subscribers. The idea of running away always seems thrilling in the moment, until reality begins to creep in. I had spent years building my career as a financial consultant, learning to read numbers, people, and intentions with precision. Trust was something I gave sparingly, and yet I had trusted my wife, Victoria, more than anyone else in my life. It was that trust that made her betrayal cut so deeply. Victoria had been distant for months, her attention drifting away from our home, and into whispered phone calls and late-night excuses. At first, I told myself it was stress, exhaustion, something temporary. But I noticed patterns that didn't add up. Sudden withdrawals, secretive texts, and subtle changes in her routine. The warning signs were there, if I had been willing to see them, but I wanted to believe. One evening, she mentioned a personal project that required her to travel for a week, her eyes bright with excitement. I casually asked where she was going, hoping to reassure myself that it was innocent. She gave me a sharp smile, masking something I couldn't yet identify. It's nothing you need to worry about, she said. I'll handle it all, just relax. Her calmness was rehearsed, too precise, too deliberate. I had learned to recognize that tone in boardrooms and negotiations, the voice people use when hiding critical information. A few days later, I stumbled upon undeniable proof. A series of financial transfers to a man I didn't recognize, traced back to a name she had casually mentioned as a colleague. The pieces clicked into place horrifyingly fast. Victoria had a lover, someone she intended to run away with, to escape with not just her heart, but also the money we had painstakingly accumulated together. The weight of that realization pressed down on me. But instead of panic or anger, I felt a methodical clarity. I didn't confront her immediately. There was no shouting, no tears, no dramatic scenes. Instead, I began quietly observing, documenting every move, every communication, every slip that would reveal the truth behind her carefully curated plan. I knew that when someone attempts to manipulate both love and finances, the reckoning can be precise, calculated, and inevitable. And I intended to make it so. Victoria's plan began to unfold in all its audacity. She had arranged meetings, booked flights, and transferred significant amounts of money into accounts under her lover's name. Everything was meticulously planned, but meticulous plans often leave a trail for those patient enough to follow. I watched, took notes, and traced each transaction with precision. Every bank statement, every email, every phone record became a piece of the puzzle. She moved confidently, believing she had the perfect escape. Her lover, a charming man named Daniel, was unaware of the attention their financial activities were drawing. They spoke openly in private messages, laughing at how clever they were, never imagining that someone was already documenting their every move. Confidence, I knew, often masks recklessness. Meanwhile, Victoria continued her routine at home, feigning normalcy. Dinners were polite but distant, and she never suspected that I had already initiated contact with legal and financial advisors. I didn't confront her, I didn't threaten her. I let her play her game while quietly setting the stage for her downfall. Every casual mention she made about their plans, every brag about escaping with the money, became ammunition. Then came the first domino. A discreet tip to the financial authorities about irregular transfers sparked an investigation into Daniel's accounts. Small freezes began, unexpected audits appeared, and the pressure that Victoria had never anticipated started mounting. Her texts became frantic, her casual arrogance replaced by tension. I could see the panic creeping into her carefully controlled demeanor, and I remained calm, as I had been all along. The turning point came when Victoria realized the depth of the exposure. The man she thought was untouchable, the life she had hoped to escape into, was collapsing under the scrutiny she had not anticipated. Calls to her lover went unanswered, emails bounced back, and the elaborate financial network she had relied on was crumbling. Her plan, designed to give her freedom and wealth, was unraveling piece by piece, faster than she could manage. And yet I waited. Patience, I knew, was the most effective tool in situations like this. I didn't rush to confront, I didn't gloat. I allowed her to witness the consequences of her choices, to understand fully that every lie and every betrayal had a price. The stage was set for the final reckoning, and when it came, there would be no ambiguity, no escape and no excuses. The day everything came crashing down, Victoria's confidence vanished completely. The authorities had frozen accounts, auditors had uncovered discrepancies, and Daniel's once assured promises dissolved into frantic calls and desperate texts. The empire they had built on lies and greed was collapsing faster than they could comprehend. Victoria rushed home that evening, pale and trembling, her composure shattered. "Mark, please, this isn't what I wanted," she pleaded, her voice cracking under the weight of panic. I didn't respond immediately. I let the silence speak, letting her realize fully the gravity of her choices. Every lie, every secret meeting, every transfer of money, all of it was exposed. The life she had envisioned was gone, taken not by chance, but by precision, patience, and the consequences of her actions. Daniel tried to reach me, angry and desperate, demanding intervention, but I remained untouchable. They had assumed I was blind, naive, or too forgiving, but they had gravely misjudged the man they thought they could manipulate. Their arrogance, their greed, and their betrayal had been their undoing. Slowly, the reality sank in. Bankruptcy, legal consequences, and exposure were inescapable. Victoria collapsed into the living room, tears flowing freely. "I thought I could have it all," she whispered. "I didn't think you'd find out or care so much." I looked at her steadily. "You underestimated me," I said calmly, my voice free of anger but full of conviction. "Every choice has a consequence. Every betrayal comes with a price." She nodded, understanding fully, though it was too late to undo the damage. In the following weeks, the aftermath became undeniable. Daniel faced legal repercussions, financial ruin, and public exposure, while Victoria was left to confront the reality she had helped create. I didn't gloat, I didn't celebrate. Justice had been served quietly, deliberately, methodically. And in that quiet, I found closure. Betrayal had tested me, but it had reaffirmed my patience, my foresight, and my ability to act when others underestimated me. Sitting in my study one evening, reviewing the final documents and hearing the last echoes of their collapse, I understood one thing clearly. Power lies in preparation, in strategy, and in the courage to act when the time is right. Deception can be seductive, but discipline and accountability are ultimate. Victoria and Daniel had learned this lesson the hardest way possible, and I had proven that some debts, some betrayals, are meant to be paid in full.